Hi, Shell.
And hello to all you other wonderful weirdos witching.
My hat's done. My hat is done. Managed to finish the brim and add some bells because I found them in my toolbox when I was cutting the wire for the brim. Yeah, I randomly have bells in my toolbox. I don't know how they ended up there, but I have bells in my toolbox because they're an important tool. But I got so addicted to crocheting this hat that oh, the crochet trance is real. I've not been reading very much, so instead I've been making more hats. Um, this one in particular is a bit shorter. Um, it's not fully finished because I have to unpick it because it's very big for my head, which is saying a lot because my skull is just too big for hats, so I struggle with hats. I just need to unpick it, make it a bit shorter, and then I've got enough wool for making the brim properly, and then I'll shove. Then it's nearly done. But am I gonna do that? No, because I'm busy on the third hat that I'm making. Yeah, I'm currently addicted to crocheting right now. That I've just made. I found all of my crocheting hooks and put them in one little jar next to my books. So I instead of putting my books by my telly, which is off screen, so that I can read instead of watch telly and put DVDs on, etc. I've now got crocheting hooks next to my book so I can crochet instead of reading. So I've only read my short story this week, which was a little tricky. It's fine. I have hats. I'm fine. I have not got a problem. I have not got a problem. So this week I read Catechism. I think it's how you pronounced. Catechism for Those Who Would Find Witches. And this is by Katleen Jennings. So this is not your typical short story. This is in a question answer format. Am I experimenting with am I getting distracted by my own shadow? Yes, I am. But yeah, it's basically a document that our reader, we're not following a protagonist, we are following a reader of this document, this text in a room of manuscripts. To be specific, document number #NBL 693 #34PF New Pool Castle School Rare Books and Manuscripts Room. Access restricted. Written permission required from the Chief Librarian or the Castle School Senate. So this document is like very restricted. Well, this room is restricted. This room of supposed to be like of knowledge. That's what's causing that shadow. I have the thread is just there we go. Oh my god. This is a time to be experimenting with the lighting. Getting distracted by the thread. So in this particular format, we've got the opening document, like a bibliography. How you would like structure a bibliography, which is basically where you got it, what it is, and location, etc., and what the actual thing is describing. And then we have questions and answers. And I thought this was something else entirely until I realized slowly that the answers we are getting to these questions, like these questions, why are witches sought and by whom, are you nevertheless prepared to inquire further, where do witches come from, what was the name of the first witch, that kind of thing, in the first few questions And it tells a tale of, I feel like this is too dark. It tells a tale of this very interesting world where one of the sorcerers created a witch, kind of like how the biblical tale of God creating Adam and Eve, this sorcerer created a woman who became the first witch. So the sorcerer Lagasar created the first witch, Thalassa. This means ocean in the scholarly tongue, because the great sorcerer Legasar lived on the most eastern shore where the shoulder of the earth turns toward icy waves. I love that. The shoulder of the earth. Why can't we describe this more like that? He drew the first witch from the ocean, skin and stone. He wrapped one around the other and breathed it into a woman's shape with a sea glass heart. And from there he taught her spells from great words, lesser words, and words from other worlds. It's very early. My dyslexia is like the only thing I have right now. My brain is still booting up. So yes, we've got this question answer format, and there's even little notes in brackets after each note or in between each answer, or in as the answers are being given from our reader. The person reading this is describing that this document has notes from other people reading it from before, and yeah, it's very interesting because especially the significant notes from other students. This even the smell of the book is described, which is of smoke and salt. But I think I nearly laughed when it came to describing Thalassa's creation. Um, and the note from a student in response to it was absolutely hilarious, because as an artist this just tickled my funny bone. It was hilarious. Yeah, all this he gave her freely, having made her, and asked no more than any artist does of his instruments, obedience. And the note of a student: have you met an artist? Oh, and then the following bit is the readers responding to that, and it's just, yeah, we don't really do obedience in our instruments. We just do things on our own accord, and it's like a wrestling match between our tool and what we want it to do. It's hilarious, and I love that because this literally does take on the embodiment, because Thalassa is a living person to do with as she wants to do with her life, not what somebody else did. Like, it calls upon that parentalhood that we want our children to do what we want to do. Instead, they do their own thing because that is normal. And it's just hilarious. I like how it went down the artist path and not the parental path with the description of that. But it's the same principle. We cannot force our own will of what we want to happen with this life form. We can only make the dog sit for an extended period of time, but it's gonna be disobedient. And it's just, I did appreciate that quite a bit. And we just go through how Thalassa turned upon Lagasar, and there's questions of, will Lagasar rise again? And the plain answer to that is no, no, because magic has been outlawed. But Thalassa has wandered the earth since killing her since killing the person who created her. And she did some honest work. She was a labourer, did quite a bit of work after she settled down, and she just started asking the women in the area questions, and those questions kind of rose to more because she got them questioning the state of things. What would you do if you had this? What do you do in your free time? Why, etc. And it's just like, if you could close your eyes and think of something other than nothing, what would it be? And the answer is they close their eyes and picture a corridor of doorways. What's through said doorway? What's through those doors? I love the answer of no door leads to the same place twice except for one, which is amazing. This is like describing a magic that is full of mystery and wonder, and I loved it. I do have a qualm with it, but it's more of a, I'll come back to that because it's like a grander problem with this story, and it's mainly to do with the structure of it, I think. But we'll get back to that. We have women questioning, and then the questions being asked is what became of magic, and or what did magic look like. And some of the amazing descriptions was a woman who was able to turn fire into thread and made a spool of fire because she just like twisted fire between her fingers and into a thread, and it's not like explicitly described as to how she used it, but I did really like just the fact of a woman used her tears in a place where water was like seen as precious. So she used her tears and her hair and then strangled somebody, a man, with it. She basically, it's just it's because of the document, the nature of the document, there's a bit of a fact thing going, but it's also weaving its own mystery to it, which is a shame because I want to know why. I want to know the context. I want to know these women finding their power and then rising above their life. I want to know, why did that woman use her hair to strangle a man? I like, but at the same time, this is a document in a fictional world, and but yeah, what I did really like was a note. What I did like was a note from our reader. Here it is. So there's like a page left blank, and it's just full of notes from other students, but it also gets followed up by another note by our reader. And I could swear I hear laughter somewhere among the shelves, although Castle School rare book room is sombre, and I thought I was alone. And in the text, you have sat too long among books in high towers, my love, if laughter frightens you. There's like a slight hint of whether or not the book is conscious of who is reading it. Just a slight, and it's just, it adds that sense of mystery, but at the same time, it actually goes nowhere. I thought it was kind of building to something a bit more than it did, because it kind of just ends with does there remain another question in this catechism? There does remain one more question, but you must ask it. And what will its answer be? And I thought it was going to build to something like a realization of magic, or I don't know, maybe something a little dark and sinister or twisted, or maybe something else. Maybe, I don't know, like a confirmation that the reader unlocks maybe their own witchcraft. I don't know. It just, it felt a little flat after such a nice, mysterious build. And so, yeah, it was okay. It was okay. I like this short story. It was an unusual format. I just, when it came to it, I want more. Like, I want to be in the world. This world already felt like it's missing the detail, the context. If there is if it is like a short story taken from something like that, like a bigger world, I think it needs to be a part of that collection and not separated into a book like this. I mean, maybe yes, but I'm only like a few entries into this. But I would like to see the rest of the world, the story. It's interesting lore. I will say that, but that's all it is, unfortunately. A little disappointing, but it's fine. It did have a nice atmosphere. The atmosphere was spot on through this. Even if it is like a question answer format, the atmosphere, just that, even the answers we're giving, as well as the notes from our reader, it did build a nice atmospheric world ish. In that room, it kind of gave academic reading of whimsy vibe. I think that was all it is, really, is vibes, unfortunately. So yeah, I got vibes out of this, which was nice, but it's fine. It's fine. It just short, sweet. Didn't feel short because I was so addicted to crocheting that I had to keep picking it up, and I kept, yeah, it's fine. Feels a little anticlimactic, this ending, but it felt anticlimactic in that ending. I guess I'm a little too used to the expertise of King and Chung that this just felt a little, yeah, it's something. I read something. It's fine. How many times am I going to say it's fine? Take a shot. I don't know. It's Saturday for you, anyways. It's Friday for me. I hope he most likely be back with more hats next week. I don't have a problem, I swear. I'm not itching to get back to making this. This is literally today's. I made this. I made that much yesterday and this much this morning whilst I was waking up. It's a nice waking up tool. What can I say? It's fine. But yeah, that's this week's short story. Bye, Shal.
And bye to all you other wonderful weirdos witching.